How do you learn who you really are? It's not found in books. It's found on the battlefield. What's up, warriors? Welcome back. Battlefield of Mine. I'm back with J.R. Harvey again, and he's from the Kings community. We've got a few episodes together. Needs no introduction. We're going to kick some ass together. So he's got his own men's community. I've got my men's community. And we're going to start picking apart some of the things because, JR, you are a master of having content that goes off of other content. You guys see this is bullshit, right? I'm like, JR, I'll come play with you. I'm going to come play with you. Let's go do some, like, this is bullshit videos. Let's go pull some things up and go, let's tear some things apart and show people there's a lot of bad advice and a lot of bad things out there. And real talk, we got to start giving good advice. What do you think?
Yeah, this is much needed right now. The young people that are on social media in particular, who it can be very confusing. You see a video where a lady is talking about how men are supposed to treat them or why men are doing things wrong, or you see even a guy who looks like a masculine older role model who's just giving advice that is only going to lead to hurting them. We have to talk about these things, and I queued up some really good videos for you today. I think you're gonna like them.
All right, we got some doozies. So we're gonna go into these ones. I feel like some of these are low hanging fruit, but we want to give an introduction on like us being able to do this. I'm gonna just jump on with you on that one. We got a lot of young men. You've got a lot of young men in your community, and I've gotten to spend time with some of them, like 15 years old, 16, 17, 18, and we've gotten to hear like the information that's available right now is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. There's no way they can have the discernment, the mentorship, the practice to be able to discern what's good information, what's bad information. And I'm like, you guys, let's see what you're in there. I even would pull up some stuff the other day. I just chat GPT to go like, what's these things saying? If I were to go, what's a high value man? It gave this like laundry list that like if I was 17 or 18 would be like, this is impossible. You know, and then like I was like, okay, what's hypergamy mean? And it was only half correct. Half of it was really convoluted to steer a kid down this path that could never be done or doesn't make any sense. It's emotional direction, which isn't actually instruction at all. It's very difficult for these kids to know better. So let's go through some of these things and give a little bit of like and this is very important to understand what we're doing here. This is not to create more hate. This is not to create like, hey, they're bad and look how they're a piece of crap and they suck. This is about to say this doesn't work, but here's something that does. Or you're maybe looking at it in a way to reform a belief that becomes useful and not just confusing. And that's the reason that we're going to be doing this today there's too much noise that's just bad information. Let's give best practices that are actually working. Between the two of us, there's like 20,000 men that are plugged into just our community areas. And we train the shit out of them. With Crown and Shield training, you guys should be jumping into Crown and Shield training with us. We train guys how to handle these things with the right tools and be able to like really step up in their game to be the man they're meant to be and not run around trying to pretend to be all these poor information things. So if you guys haven't heard that, check out our last episode with JR and I together with the good men and the, you know, bad boys and nice guys interview that we did. But JR, I got one that was sent to me by one of my warriors and I want to eat this one together.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to be real. This one grinds my gears. As a professional, this one grinds my gears. So let's get into this one. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Why men lie. Why in the world do men lie? Especially, why do they lie to the woman they love the most? Some of them said, I do, I will, I'll forsake all others, I'm going to love you. And I can tell you in a lot of women's minds, it's like, oh, good, you're not going to lie to me. We're going to have an honest relationship. This is going to be awesome. We're going to be happy. And then they start lying. Why do men do that? That's today's topic. Now, if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, you need to do that. Just click the subscribe button. Okay, so we have hundreds of videos that can help you. And if you have a question about this or any topic, just please type in that little box below here. I will get to that question as soon as possible. We love hearing from you, but stay tuned and find out some of the reasons why men lie. One of the reasons why men lie is basically immaturity. Now, oftentimes, this is because of addictions: alcohol, drugs, gambling, food, sex, pornography, any kind of addictive process, even workaholism, can cause someone to stay emotionally, spiritually, and morally immature. And so they almost reflexively will lie, especially if it's about their particular addictive process. And so if it's food, they'll lie about what they ate. If it's porn, they'll say they don't look at it. You know, if it's work, they'll minimize how many hours they actually were there. Okay. And so the lying will be to continue to maintain the addictive process. And that is crazy making for someone who's not an addict, who is mature. And now, if you don't have an active addiction as a woman, you're not going to suffer from a whole lot of spiritual, emotional, and moral immaturity. You know, right is right, wrong is wrong. It's pretty simple. Don't lie, right? Don't cheat, don't steal. Pretty basic stuff. I mean, this is kindergarten stuff. To a morally developed woman, it makes no sense whatsoever why someone would lie about so many simple things that you've been lied to about. And I will say this: if you've been lied, especially if it's an infidelity, sexual addiction, or you've been lied or duped into, like, hey, I'm going to love you forever, but then they neglect you. They do the intimacy anorexia thing. They withhold love, praise, sex, time. You feel married and alone. You've been through trauma. Okay, there's a whole partner betrayal trauma.org. Go there. That statistical information can help you understand the PTSD, the depression, the things you feel because of being lied to.
Yeah,
God, it's hard to listen to. There's so many wrong things in this. Okay, let's kill this screen. Oh my God. So,
where do we start with this one?
All right, so this one's in my field. I have worked with a lot of guys through addiction, and I help guys through their addiction, and whether it be severe depression, going through like the pain and trauma from the past. I've worked through guys with PTSD, worked through guys with suicidal thoughts. I've worked through guys with the nastiest shit. We've beaten addiction even on the highest level, even through heroin and some of the toughest stuff that guys can fight. We have killed it. And I'm going to tell you, this is very important for all of you to understand. Anybody going through addiction is not because of immaturity. Write that shit the fuck down. Anybody going through addiction is not immaturity. Using a shame judgment system for somebody who's going through addiction is not their immaturity. The reason people go into addiction is because they need to distract themselves from extreme pain. They are in a ton of pain. It either comes from a massive loss, a huge trauma, especially soldiers and guys who have gone through really difficult things, a death in the family, loss of identity, destruction of self, some massive, like a divorce or some huge loss, can't see their kids, like some huge loss. They don't know how to process because people don't teach how to grieve effectively in any capacity. We're just trying to survive. This goes into the denial aspect. And men are taught denial of humanity, denial of feelings. And so nobody gives a shit, so they push it down and push it down. You can only harbor so much pain for so long that hurts and not know what to do with it, that you need to find some pleasure system. I need to find anything. And usually alcoholism is even just, I'll take numb over how much pain I'm suppressing all day long. And a lot of guys go to alcohol, which listen to music, hip hop, country. I don't give a shit what it is. It's all going to the bar. Everybody's at the club or they're drinking. They're drinking to meet the girl. They're drinking when the girl left. Everyone's drinking. It only makes sense that coping mechanisms aren't taught. I don't know how to grieve. I don't know how to cope. I don't know how to process. I don't know what to do, and nobody seems to care. So I need to just find any pleasure system. Denial leads to distraction. Distraction leads to addiction. That's what's going on. This isn't immaturity. It's pain. They're hurting. And so when you take somebody who is down and hurting, they're hurt. They are hurt so bad they can't deal with the hurt. And then you call them immature and shame them. That's kicking someone when they're down. And I'm justified. I'm going to tell you, you're immature. I'm a morally mature woman because I'm going to kick a hurt person while they're down. That makes them morally mature. Shaming people does not heal people. It's a fucking fact. And I'll take it to anybody who wants to go against me. Shame does not heal. And so to use a shame system to say you're immature, if they're not doing the addiction that you're doing, it's because they're more morally mature than you, because right is right and wrong is wrong. And so you're if you're with a guy who's has alcohol or workaholic or food addiction or whatever he's doing to try to find any pleasure in the weight of all of his mountain of hurt, well, then you've been duped. You've been duped, and now you have feelings of emotional trauma. You're in a trauma relationship. And so now you're in trauma, and you've been duped, and it's wrong, and it's not you, it's them, and they're just lying to maintain their addiction. No, they're fucking not. There's two reasons. There's two reasons people lie. Just so you guys want to know, why do people really lie? There's two reasons they lie. One is protection. One is profit. Most 90% of people lie because of protection. There's the small people who are going to be a lot more controlling and try and be manipulative and sneaky and try and get something from people. But it's more common. Even a 3-year-old will lie to just not get in trouble. So why do people lie to each other? The reality is because people aren't good at acceptance. People aren't good at accepting the truth. Like, so if I tell you the truth and then you're reactive. So if JR, if I was like, hey, here's the truth about something, you're like, dude, you're a fucking asshole. I'm like, no, I'm just trying to work through it. You're like, fuck you, dude, you're a piece of shit. And you start judging me or shaming me, or I can't be friends with you anymore. I'm like, damn, whenever I tell the truth to JR, man, I get punished. You know, I get shamed. I get abandoned. I get thrown in the garbage. I get thrown away. I try to share with him the truth that I'm trying to work through something. And I immediately was then punished on top of that. You can only have so much reaction to people when they tell the truth until they start going, you're not safe to tell the truth to. I get in a worse situation when I tell you the truth. Any of you who are with a partner, if you tell the truth about something, not a judgment, but like, hey, I broke the vase today. That happened. And they go, you are fucking clumsy. You're immature. I can't fucking deal with you. You're a problem today. This is why we don't have nice things. You're the reason we can't have anything nice. And immediately go into blame, shame, judgment, accusations, assumptions, and start just destroying somebody for them going like, I did break that. That's accountability. I broke that. I'm telling you the truth. What they're going to do is know from now on, anytime I tell the truth, I'm going to be attacked. Well, why would I tell the truth to somebody who punishes me or hurts me for trying to do what is right? This is called misplaced criticism, by the way. When somebody will hurt somebody for doing something good. I'm going to criticize you for trying to tell the truth. People stop telling the truth to people that hurt them for doing it. And so if you've got this moral high ground that you start making up a story that the pain that your person is in is because they're immature and they need to be shamed, you're more mature. And so you have now the authority to tell them that they are bad. And then you can now create a story to say that you're the one who's the trauma victim because they're an addict. This dude, I'd love to bust this guy's head because like this dude is poison. I have men in my group who went through this guy's program. They were so beat down as humans. Beat down. This training ruined their marriages 100%. The women are abusive to the kids. They abuse the hell out of the dudes. They are unsafe, unhealthy, and not okay. Everybody who went into this guy's program that is now in my stuff, they're like, dude, they poisoned us. We had to punish ourselves for even having thoughts, for even sharing. Every time they shared something truthful, there was a punishment associated in this program. What's the connection? What's the growth? What's the love? Where's the progress? And these guys were taught they have to do radical truth telling, and the women had zero accountability, maximum authority, and they were taught to destroy somebody for telling the truth. That's why these guys lie. Not because they're addicts who are immature. They're in radical amount of pain with no empathy. That's why. Nobody gives a shit if this guy is drowning. They're like, you're immature. That's why you're drowning. No, I've got a ton of weight on my feet and it's pulling me under the water. And I need someone to help pull me out. That's how addiction and depression work. Like, nah, it's because you're immature. This one gets me, man. This is because I work in this field, and this is poison behavior.
There's a lot of, when it comes to content creators in general, if you want to amass a large following, here's the cheat code. If you're a man, pander to the women. If you're a woman, pander to the man. And not that there's bad intentions always, but it's reality. And guys that do this, who blame, shame, and judge the men, right? They amass these huge followings with women because he's affirming their like toxic thoughts and behaviors, right? He's accepting them as they are and telling them why they are right in this situation and why he is the problem. And then from what you're saying, like it's even a step further where like he's creating programs and like coaching the couples on how to do this together, which is way worse. I see most of the time where this leads, because I follow a lot of guys in the space and I'm always studying what's going on. Most of the time, these guys, not all of them, but I've seen several, actually just even recently, one of them, where they're typically like doing it for the female attention and validation. And they are they are laying it down on all the ladies. Like they are using it to like break down their walls, get in with them. And then they get access to all the ladies that they want once they have that. They, a couple of million followers, all the ladies love them, all the ladies want to be with them. They're decent looking guys. They say all the right things. It's a real problem, and these are like they're wolves in sheep's clothing. That's what they are.
Yes, they are. Just so you know, these guys are all shut down, by the way. They got investigated. They got shut down. They were doing what you were talking about and like fraternizing behind the scenes, messing with couples. They were doing horrible things behind the scenes. So you're right. These are the wolves in sheep's clothing, acting like they're righteous and high and mighty. But using shame, blame, and judgment as a way to try to heal the relationship means that you're in a bad coaching field. Anybody who wants to give power and authority to destroy another person is a bad coach, bad mentor. Anybody who wants to say who's right and who's wrong without trying to understand and connect, bad coach, bad teacher. Like, and so you're right. This was a wolf in sheep's clothing. These guys are getting shut down because he was doing exactly what you're saying. Behind the scenes, they were doing very nefarious shit. They were doing stuff that got them like, these are bad people, and they.
I didn't even know it was going on, but I've seen it. I've seen it happen so many times. It's like you just what's going on. Like when you're a good man. That's why I was listening to a video the other day. This is why fathers are so important. This is why fathers are so important, because women can't see that. They're fooled oftentimes, right? They can't see the man's intentions, but we know each other. Right. And like I would say within 5 minutes of meeting someone, like I've been duped before, but I have a pretty good sense of like, this is a pretty stand up guy. Like this guy seems like he has good intentions versus like, this guy's sleazy, I don't know what his angle here is, but we got to put our armor up around him for sure. Like, and keep him away from the ladies.
You've seen how the bad ones are with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the bad ones don't like me because I'm a wolf, dude. I'm a bloodhound on that. I'm like, I see your bad behavior. And I call it out, too. I'm like, couldn't help but notice that bullshit, dude. I see you. I see you, bud. As soon as I see him, I call it out. I'm like, you just did a thing right there. You know that, right? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you just did a thing to reveal a thing. And I saw it. And they're like, man, fuck you, dude. I'm like, uh-huh. This is usually how it goes. As soon as you get caught, you're going to go into slander. I know as soon as I catch you, man, there's going to be a reaction because there's something you just did. And then once people go, yeah, wait a second, you did do that. They're like, no, don't look at the magician, look at the magic trick. And I'm like, nah, you're trying to do magic to us. We see you. They don't like me, man. This is one thing I help my men with. I've caught narcissists. I've caught people who have dark triad behavior. I catch them very quickly. Less than 3 minutes, I'll catch you. Because I know what the tricks are. I'll catch you quick. And I've got videos. You can watch me catch somebody in seconds. I'm like, caught you. And they get pissed and run. They hate it. They hate me. And so these guys are like, everyone keeps calling me a narcissist. Everyone keeps calling me a narcissist. I'm like, let me ask you something, bud. He's like, what is it? I'm like, do you like me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're probably not a narcissist then. Narcissists don't seek help. Narcissists don't. I do radical accountability. Narcissists don't want to do accountability. Narcissists aren't coming in going, is it me who's doing it wrong? They don't ever do that. They never do that. If you're coming to me and I can hit you with radical accountability, like, you got to own your shit, dude. You got, hey, is that you? Is that them? Is that even yours? Hey, get your shit right for you. Authenticity. Is that yours? If you're even talking to me and you like me, odds are you're not a narcissist. Because they will be like, no accountability, blame, shame, judge. It's all them, not me. Make them do what I want, control. They don't want to deal with that shit. I will fuck up their program. So it's reassuring. It's reassuring when they meet me and they go like, I like you. I'm like, then you're probably not going to be that.
Well, good news.
Yeah, good news for you. I'll diagnose you immediately.
Which one we want to dive into next year?
All right, let's grab the next one. Who do we got? All right, you ready? This one, I forgot what it is, but I'm just going to start going through them.
Okay.
Oh, let's go ahead and do this.
I'm not the breadwinner.
Are you okay being the breadwinner in a relationship?
I'm not the breadwinner in the relationship. You mean any man I'm with?
Yeah.
I'm not the breadwinner in the relationship.
But would you be okay if you were?
I'm not. There's no man I know from you or he got a regular job. He work at a warehouse. He is the head of the household. He is the breadwinner. I will chip in as he see fit because he's the head. Now, this is the way I was raised. A lot of women not going to agree with me.
No, they ain't going to agree with that.
I'm cool if you don't.
The breadwinner, he has normally, that person has the larger voice in the relationship.
Even if I make more money, it doesn't make me the breadwinner.
Oh, okay.
I am advice and concurrence. He is the head of the household. This is what I believe.
You got the money, you making the money.
No, this is what I believe. He's a man. He is the head of the household. People need to start reading Ephesians. That's what I believe. I may be strong-willed. I may make money. I want to make his life better and easier, but I'm not the head of the household.
Are you okay being the breadwinner in a relationship?
Now
all right. You want to take this one first?
What's that?
You want to go first?
Well, I think that is one that a lot of ladies and guys struggle with. There is this mindset that if I make more money, so I get to make the decisions, especially when it comes to the finances or, the decisions in general. Myself, like when my wife and I first got married, she made more money than me. And at that time, she was the decision maker, the breadwinner, like the whole thing. Not because she demanded it, I relinquished it. Like that's how I grew up. I was used to it. And since then we've totally 180'd it. But I think you have an interesting perspective on this because you are a living example of being the leader of your family when the woman is in that position. Like what is your experience with that? What's your advice to the guys?
So yeah, this one's really important. Andrew and I have talked about this one hard because very similar to when I started, I was making around $80K a year at my old job. And then I stopped that and started my business. And when you start your business, you get your ass kicked. Okay. And she, just so you know, you guys will be like, oh, well, she's probably not a hard worker. Like you and I got type 3 women, which means the achiever type women. Andrea's a 6-figure income earner. She's a beast. And she runs circles even in her industry. Like the women that she works with can't keep up with her. And we got 4 people here that we raise or live with us. We got 2 girls that live here that aren't ours. And all her cousin lives here. And then our oldest, which we pulled her in, that's my girl. She's not even our kid. Like, that was her ex's kid with another woman, but she ended up living with us because it's a half sister to the other sisters. And so Andrea has 2 girls, and then we got 2 other girls living here. And when we came into this dynamic, I left my old job to start my business, but she had to be the sole provider. And I'll be very open. This concept of who has the money calls the shots. I also still had this thought at the time. This is like 7 years ago. At the time, I'm like, listen, I'm not able to pull it in. I'm not able to pull it in. I'm not able to pull it in. And so I really did, even as a man, feel like I lost a big chunk of my voice. And it was because we hadn't worked on that dynamic yet or hadn't talked it through. And so I just naturally would relinquish. If you've got the money, then I have to ask permission for everything. Now, mind you, Andrea's a giver. This is something I would love her to teach women, that if you can provide, you also have to be a giver, because the women still have take mentality that your money, a man's money is my money and my money is my money. If you can provide, you have to be like, we both give to each other because we're both providers. And so saying, because it's mine, but yours is mine, this goes against the concept of, if women can provide too, why did you not become a giver? And that's where Andrea is very good. She's very generous. She was like, I don't mind. And so she would take care of the bills for at first, because I had to work my ass off to create. Now I've actually been built up enough to where, like, I make way more than she does. Like, it's not close anymore. And we actually, before we even switched, though, before I made more money than her, we had to switch the dynamic, because when she was lead, the girls were not okay. She would also feel versus me and her in the middle of the kids, the turmoil in the house. When I wasn't the lead, the house really was not okay. The girls would have to go to therapy and have to deal with stuff. There was stuff going on in their schools and behavior that was going on before I was taking lead, that, like, the kids were not doing okay. Social media was a big part of what's going on for self-harm or easy sexual access to things that they would never have before this stuff. And, like, I wasn't leading at the point. It was still too early on in our dynamic. Once we started going, you know what, I got to take lead, and we started learning each other. That was before, like, I made more money than her. We started leveling the house out. The house started to level down. I'll take it on me. Now that I make more, it'd be really funny now, because our house is a well-oiled machine now. When I'm in lead, my girls are safe and secure. When I'm in lead, they don't have to worry about everything because things are taken care of. When I'm in lead, they know they can come and talk to me about anything. I'm not reactive and I don't freak out and everybody's okay. They know when I'm in lead, if they ask for something, we'll find a way to get it for you. We'll figure it out, hon. We'll find a way. They know that when I'm in lead, my girl doesn't have to carry the weight of everybody else on her shoulders, which really takes a lot of stress off of her. Andrea's lost a lot of weight because now she's in a healthy relationship with me in front, so she can do more self-care, more love, more stress relief, more not have to worry about everything. In fact, it's very liberating for her to be able not have to be the A type that she is and run the show. It's really taken so much stress that even when we went on vacation, normally she'd be like, I got the map. I got to tell you where everything is, and we got to be at this time, and we got to do the schedule. She couldn't remember where our room was like 20 times on this damn cruise that we were on. And she was just loving it because she knew I had her. I was like, baby, just follow me. And she's like, okay. Like, she didn't have to be in control of everything because she knew I had her. I could take point and she knew she could follow. And if shit went down, I knew she had my back, but she didn't have to worry because the safety security element was on lock. I bring this up because people would go against this lady and say, like, the person who makes the money should be in charge. I'm telling you, as a person who says men lead for a reason, and women, following doesn't mean you're not a contributor or you're a subservient or you're not useful or you're not valuable. It is absolutely not that at all. My girl is highly proficient and she's a badass. But she knows when I take point, she doesn't have to stress. That's a mindset for the relationship. She said on this one, the reason why men are also good for leading is she works with all women, by the way, like huge company. She said men are more effective at leading because they can explain why they believe a way is better. Women who are led by emotions, we want what we want, and we can't easily articulate our why. Like, why is this best for the team? And why do you want that? Like, well, because I want it. Like, yeah, but why is that good for everybody? Well, why wouldn't it be? Oh, you answered a question with a question. No. Why is it good? Well, because I like it, and I think it would be, I would want that. Who wouldn't want that? You keep answering questions with questions on make-believe people. No. Why is that good for everybody? Whereas if I said, hey, ask the man, why do we want to do that? I'm like, well, if we do that, it accounts for the kids, it accounts for her, it accounts for me, it even accounts for the dog. It makes sure that we can move forward. And if it doesn't work out well and it messes up, it's on me. It's not on them. And so I'll take accountability for when it goes wrong. We'll learn from it. And that makes it so everybody can go forward to get what they want. That's why. Well, that sounds really good versus like, who wouldn't? You see what I mean? And so when I say this, Andrew and I were talking about this the other day. And I said, babe, if this was true and this mindset was true, as let's say she makes $100,000 and I make 110. Let's just pick easy numbers. And then she gets a raise and now she makes 111. Does the house dynamic now switch? Now mom's in charge because she makes an extra grand more than me. I'm like, so now I'm no longer lead. Now I'm follow because she got an extra grand more than me. So like, oh, sorry, girls, don't listen to me anymore. Mom's in charge. Nope. You know what? I don't take protection anymore. I'm not preside anymore. I lost my position because she got a raise. And so I guess now I'm not able to be a leader for you guys. Sorry, guys. I'm like, does this make sense to you? And she's like, that makes no sense at all. Our house is running so good. Why would having an extra grand mean now you stop doing your job and I have to take on 10 times more responsibility? Why would that do that?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Warrior, thank you so much for being a part of the information that we have. And you're part of our story as we are a part of yours. It's very much an honor to be able to connect with each other. If you want to know more or you want to get started with working with me or working with our warriors so that you can begin your path to authenticity, strength, leadership, and accountability, this is the way. Together, we are way stronger. Now you get to choose. Do you go forward or keep doing what you've always done? If you stay where you're at, hey, click on some of the stuff and follow what it is. We got motivational stuff. We've got podcasts. We've got more things. Just subscribe and do the stuff, and we'll keep you updated. But if you want to start going in, start jumping into what our programs offer and start your journey and being the hero in your own story.
There's something you said earlier that my wife has echoed. You didn't say exactly, but the ability to shut off her brain when I'm around. Like if you can get her to that place, like it's it's incredible. Like who the version of them that reveals when you allow them to just not have to think about stuff anymore.
That's well said. I actually did a thing. One of the guys got upset. If anybody ever got mad at your girl for when you guys watch a movie together and she falls asleep. One of my guys the other day, he came in, he's like, dude, I was hoping for a romantic movie night together. I wanted time with her. And I got mad because like we were watching and she fell asleep. We're holding each other, but she fell asleep watching the movie. I was like, you are missing the whole movie. You're missing our quality time. You're missing the movie. And I said, hold on there, Turbo. Hold on there, buddy. Listen, let me tell you something. These girls can watch a movie all by themselves just fine. But how come whenever they're watching movies with the guys, because I said, guys, how many of your girls fall asleep on the movie? And almost every guy's like, dude, my girl always falls asleep. I'm like, me too. My baby cannot get through a movie when we're watching. It's very rare that if we watch a movie that she makes it to the end. It's very rare. And so I was like, why does this happen, fellas? I'm like, I'll tell you why it happens. It's because you did something right. She feels safe enough with you that she can fall asleep. She feels safe enough with you to not have to worry. She can turn, like you said, I can turn my brain off. I don't have to worry about this and worry about that and worry about this. She's like, you got me. If your girl's falling asleep on you during the movie, there's something good happening here. Not she's missing Rambo 3. Like, slow down there, Turbo. You're good. She's good. That's why she fell asleep. You did something right, not she's doing something wrong. And so you give the ability to turn your brain off. Give it, like you said, like you give me a chance to just not have to worry about everything. So echoing you.
Yeah, that's a win. It's a win.
It's a win.
Listen, a win is a win, right? How often do we mistake a win as like a lot of you guys come in frustrated about something like, whoa, dude, this sounds like progress. What? Really? This is actually incredible that this happened. We should be excited. And they're like, okay, I'm still mad about it though. Well, let's fix that because you shouldn't be.
Yeah, we got to fix your algorithm. You just won and called it a loss. You got mad at winning, bro.
Yeah.
You got mad at winning. So on this one, I really admire that she was able to stand up for herself and say, I know my role is very important, but it doesn't have to mean because I got more money, I'm in charge. Andrea and I are both very powerful A-type personalities. I know that you and Audie are A-type person. You guys will get shit done. And I really do feel highly formidable with my lioness next to me. She knows I have to take point, though. She knows I'm in front. And that's not because she is incapable. She had to be so far in her masculine for that she was very unhealthy in that state. And she's become substantially healthier. And if you guys are wondering if your woman's okay or not, she gained a lot of weight when she was in an unhealthy relationship. Like she was very unhealthy because her relationship was unhealthy. And when you're doing so much suppression in a masculine state as a female, the health of your body will reflect the health of your mind and heart. I want to say that to people who don't understand. If people are not okay in their mind or in their heart, if they're not okay for who they are, if they're not okay, if they're hurting and they're suppressing that hurt, their bodies generally will reflect it. And so if you see somebody putting on a lot of weight or losing a lot of weight unhealthy, like stress loss, and you're going to start seeing people who start getting unhealthy physically, it's really more of a manifestation of how unhealthy their mind or their heart is. Something hurt them. And again, it's not immaturity or shaming. It's like, dang, something's going on. I got to make sure my person's okay. Not look how you're letting yourself go. Not look how you don't care anymore, and start hurting them for hurting, which is just untrained awareness.
With this is something that I've been thinking about recently because we share this thing in our relationships where in the beginning, very unhealthy, right? Like it was not good. Like even the way we met each other wasn't very good necessarily. And then for a period of time, there was no, like if I look back at the beginning of my relationship, all the advice I would have given myself was, dude, you need to get out of this. Like, she's still texting her ex-fiance. Like, she's saying certain things. Like, all of the red flags were present. But listen, I was a turd too. Like, I was a drug dealer at the time. So, we were at each other's level, for sure. But what I see the pattern here, like both of our ladies are threes, like super hard workers. And I'm curious to know, like, can any guy the reason that our relationships were successful I would point it to us, like me and you, like individually doing our growth and then stepping into that leadership position, and she came along for the ride. And my question is that duplicatable in most relationships, some relationships? Like what do you think on that?
There's one element that has to be there for the relationship on both sides, or else the answer is no. Without willingness, it doesn't matter. Like if you don't want it, it doesn't matter. A lot of times, and this is a sad reality when guys come in to meet us, by the time they get to us, they've been destroying their relationship for like 10, 15, 30 years. They've been fucking this relationship up. And so it's kind of like just constantly just burning your house down. They show up when finally it's just smoldering and it's done. And they're like, can you save this? Can I save this? And I'm like, this is kind of like coming to firefighter school after your house is burnt down. And like, can you save my house? And we're like, we teach firefighters here. We don't fix your old house. Like, why'd you burn your house down? They're like, that's what my parents taught me. That's what I'm supposed to do. Like, they have no training. And so it's really a sad thing when by the time guys come to us, they're usually in crisis already. That's already crisis time. So if you catch it way before crisis, the people who come in when there's still willingness from both sides, then there's hope. Yes. But if they've already burned the house down and she's already like, I'm done with you. I don't care what you do. You've hurt me so bad, I'm out. Or he's like, you've hurt me so bad, I'm out. Like, if the relationship has been so ruined by both of you that somebody doesn't have willingness, then that one died. You guys killed it. So that's dead. But if there's a chance for you guys to be able to go, we both believe it's in there. We both are willing to fight for it. We will both go for it. Then at that point, yes, the man has to go first. Like, Rick, why does the man have to go first? Hypergamy is a real thing, but it's not the way ChatGPT will tell you. Hypergamy is a real thing because the guy has to be further ahead, not financially only, but like stoically, emotionally. Like, he's got to be safer. He's got to be able to handle situations. He's got to be more clutch. He's got to be able to be more logical or have objective perspective. And he's got to have better tools and abilities to be able to handle difficult things. Otherwise, you won't feel safe with him. If he's got to be a little further ahead, ladies, he's got to be. And guys, you level up, and I'll take the challenge on all of you ladies, for real. I've been doing this for years. I've got women's groups. Men are way faster. I think it's because of this hypergamy evolution that men, they go faster than women. They process faster. And it's not because women are stupid. It's because women process emotionally. It just takes longer. They still get there. It just takes longer. And so if the guy is leading and the guy's like, I got you, and can create a safe space for her to heal, her healing then also goes very quickly and the team rises very fast. And so I think it's useful to know that guys have to go first because there's a follow mentality. Also, I believe there's a spirit element to it. I think that it's hard for women to follow a guy who doesn't follow something greater than himself. And I'm gonna throw it out there hard. It doesn't mean you have to worship the same type of God or go to church or have a religion, but there's got to be a relationship with self or with spirit or with God, something greater than yourself to say my moral compass is guided by more than just me. Otherwise, the people who just serve themselves as God, they become like police officers that run red lights. You know, and so they're the ones that I can make the laws, but then I can break my own laws, and that's okay. But if you hold yourself to a higher standard of I follow something greater than me, and even I don't break those laws, that's a guy of integrity that women are happy to follow. And that makes them feel safe and secure to go, this guy holds himself to a higher standard of doing what is right, not who is right. He'll hold healthy boundaries. He knows his borders, and he's able to be solid in the face of very difficult or trying conversations. And that makes them feel good because he's following something bigger than him. That's been very successful across the board. So long story short on this, if both parties have willingness and the guy is like, I'll put in the damn work, and then she's like, if you do this, I got you, I'm in, you guys can reframe the entire foundation of the relationship, have a funeral for the old people that you guys aren't anymore, and then yes, that relationship can evolve. Yes.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. Because I watched it happen. I watched it happen in my own relationship. For us, I think it probably took about 2. You're talking about like the rate of growing. I think there's something in there like maybe the guys go faster because it's like in our DNA that it is a need. Like it's a need to raise the level in order to attract the woman that we want to be with versus them like they can be where they're at, like, and it isn't so much a requirement, right?
It's true. What's the sales pitch, fellas? I think this is where I challenge my guys whenever it comes to relationship. I'm like, if you were selling you, what's the sales pitch to the girl? You know, like, what's the sales pitch? If I was like, hey, I'm going to date with you, like JR, if I was on a date with you, it's like, all right, here's my resume. Here's my sales pitch. Let's call it what the fuck it is, fellas. Most of your sales pitch is potential. Someday I'm going to do this, and next I'm going to do this, and I want to get my degree to go do this. I'm going to have this career. I'm going to start a business in this, or I'm going to do this thing. It's potential. I'm selling what's the dream going to be like? What could it be like with me? I have the potential to be. That's the sales pitch, right? And so she's going to go like, okay, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. Here's where guys who are untrained fuck up is they chase the girl or they want to get the girl and they'll sell these big, elaborate potential, like this is how good life is going to be. But their entire goal is to get the girl. And then once they get the girl, they're actually not trying to do the potential thing. They just wanted to get the girl. And then they get the girl. And it's kind of like if you were to take your dog for a walk, for example. You're like, hey, you want to go for a walk? And the dog's like, fuck yes, dogs love walks. They're pumped for it. And then I get outside and I walk out with the dog with the leash. And then I got the dog outside. So I just stand there. And the dog's like, where are we going? Are we going that way? I'm going to mark that shit. I'm going to mark that shit. I'm going to mark that. We're going to go on an adventure. And I just stand there. I just stand there. And the dog starts running around and going, looking at you like, are we going? And you're just standing there. The dog might like sit around for a little bit, maybe like dig a hole a little, lay down, maybe take a nap, get back up, still just standing there, maybe tug on the thing and try and get you to go, but you're not going, maybe chew on the leash a little bit and get annoyed, but you're just standing there, man. Why? Because I got the dog. I already got it. I did it. But you're not going anywhere. You're not trying for a goal. You're not moving on your mission for potential. You're not trying to grow. You're not evolving. You're not pushing your limits. You're not going any direction. And eventually the dog starts getting annoyed. The dog get annoyed. Like, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere, man. Now, I'm not calling the girls dogs. I'm just saying reference-wise, it's very similar to say, if you're going to follow me and I'm not going anywhere, expect her to get annoyed. And that's what a lot of guys do. If they chase the girl, a lot of these nice guys, you've seen this, baby, whatever you want to do. Baby, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, babe. If you're chasing her tail and she's following you, you two are just going in a circle. And everyone's like, you guys been together for 4 years. Where are you going? You're like, we're in the same spot. We're just going in a circle. I'm honestly getting very annoyed by it. That's what it looks like when you got these guys who are trying to just get the girl instead of trying to learn how to lead. And so that's why men need men too, because we are built for progress. And if you're not around guys who go like, dude, you got to start working on your shit, man. Yeah, Cheryl's getting annoyed with me on shit. I'm like, are you working on anything? No, I just kind of do my thing, man. I'm like, well, no wonder. You're just standing still. No wonder she's getting annoyed. Why don't you start that business, man? Hey, why aren't you believing in yourself? Hey, why don't you just go ahead and let's go ahead and build that. I'll help you. I got a network. I'll call that guy who has that thing so that way you can start it up. Like, guys look out for guys and keep pushing for progress. But if you're around people who don't have progress and you wonder why everyone's getting frustrated, well, you're actually not leading shit. You're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything. You pitch this potential and then you never did any action for it. So, of course, people are getting annoyed.
Yeah, big overlooked piece of leadership, because there's all the theories and the things you have to do and the way you need to talk and all of that. But a good leader has the ability to get good results, right? Like, if you're the coach of a team and your team isn't winning, you're going to get fired. It's only a matter of time. Like, you can do all the fancy things and have all these great theories and ideas and be the nicest guy ever and connect with everyone on a super deep level and have the perfect game plan and all of that. But if you don't execute and get the desired results, you're going to have a lot of problems. And on the flip side, like, someone who's able to execute and get results has a lot of grace in all the other areas.
It's very true. If you're even failing forward is still good. Just keep trying is good. The complacency is a damn killer, that's for sure. So I think as long as there's willingness, and that's still willingness on both sides, willingness on the man to fulfill his potential and willingness on the woman's side to say, I'm going to stand by you and keep fighting forward together and build each other up. And we're going to team up, not wait for you to win so I can get what I want. No, we build each other up. We're going to fight together. We're going to keep growing. We're going to both, I'm going to encourage you. You encourage me. We're going to build each other up, not wait for you to win. Just so you girls know, cheerleaders aren't needed for the end of the game. When are cheerleaders needed most? When your team's down. Defense. I need you when I'm getting beat up out there is when I need my cheerleader the most. But today's society is like, oh, you're just not winning the whole time? Well, then I can go find a guy who's winning. And you're like, what? No. I need you most when I just got smashed. You know what I mean? And this is where today's society isn't teaching men how to be good men and women how to be good women. It's just missing major elements. So it's pretty rough to watch.
Yeah, it is. And that's when you really see what you have in the relationship, right? We see it oftentimes, like the money, money issues start arising, or he loses his job, or something along those terms. It's like, okay, what was valued in this relationship then?
Mm-hmm. I think we have a video on that. You want to do it?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's do it.
I think one of the videos is just on that topic to show like what it looks like. All right. Let's go.
So you married?
I'm going through a divorce.
What happened with that?
Basically, my husband stopped meeting my expectations.
What you mean?
So when I met him, when I met my husband, I told him what I expect from a man. The number one rule with being with me is you have to provide. I won't settle for anything less. So my husband ended up losing his job. So he ended up losing his job. He came home and he told me, I'm like, okay, cool. All right. So a month went by and he looked for me to pay the bills. Who paying what bill? So I was going to consider it if he gave me the money back for paying the bills. And he told me no. He felt like he shouldn't have to do that. What do you mean? When I told you, as a man, I expect you to provide. Under no circumstances will I ever touch bills as long as I got a husband. None. If you can hear.
He probably happy you gone, though.
I'm sure he missed me.
A headache? That would be a headache for me. Like, I know I just lost my job. What if he lied? Niggas do that. Like, I just lost my job, baby, to test. But what is he doing now?
That's childish. Like, what you testing me for? That's childish.
I'm saying to see what I got. Now I see what I got. So you married?
I'm going through a divorce.
What?
That is a test. I've seen videos of people doing this, where the guy will come home and tell her like, "Hey, I lost my job." When he just took like a few weeks vacation or something. Mm-hmm. And just see how they react.
Yeah, it does a test of what I call the Epictetus compass. I'm not saying that this is necessarily healthy, but it sure reveals when it's not. The Epictetus compass is your circumstances do not define you; they reveal you to yourself. And so, if you were to go like, "Hey, here's a circumstance. How would you handle it?" And then they show who they are when they go, "Here's how I would handle it," and you go, "Damn, that's who you are." Okay. And there's some key words that she said, like, I expect him. This is an interesting word to say in a relationship. Like, I expect you to do that, because this is an authority term. JR, I expect you to do what I tell you to do. Like, this expectation that's put upon you, you can see how it's almost like I'm demeaning. Like, I expect you to do what I tell you to do. Like, I'm somehow became an authority just because I gave myself a promotion. Now, this is where you see the terminology of women are taught what to expect from a man, but not how to treat him. And men are taught how to treat a woman, but not what to expect from her. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's what this thing is she's taught what to expect, but I can see that, like, there's no empathy, no connection, as soon as he was down, she's like, so what you want? What you going to do? It's like, no, I just lost my job. Okay, so I ain't doing nothing. You better figure it out. It's like, what are you doing? Hold on a second. And when he said, well, do you have my back on this one? Could you just take the bills this month? And she's like, I don't want, I'll do it if you give me the money back. And this just shows where she's like, she's got no maturity of, remember I told you, being a provider and being able to be a giver. My girl will take the bills. Your girl would take the bills. But not be like, you owe me because I took the bills. Because, like, no, we're a team and we got each other's back. And it's funny that if he said, no, I'm not going to do that, she said that is childish. That was her judgment, she said. She said, that's childish that you wouldn't do that. You notice that she uses a judgment to justify her being a dependent or a child. I'll call you, this is projection, I'll call you what I'm doing to make you feel bad so that I can continue doing what I'm calling you.
It's girl behavior. It's boy behavior. Either side of it, right? Where it's like if money is power and you give someone money, like what do they do with it? Well, a boy or a girl will use it all for themselves, right? But a man or a mature adult uses it to provide for their family, provide for their loved ones. We give. That's why, like for most men, they want to have more simply so they can take care of the people that they love, simply so they can take care of their family at the level that they want to. Most guys don't even have, you ask them like what they would do with the money. And I, even me, like before I made a list, like none of the things on the list when I first made it were about me.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single one. Like I couldn't even get myself to think that way, which I don't think is healthy either. But that's just like how I was wired, or maybe how I was taught and trained growing up that way.
Yeah, it's a tricky game, both sides on this thing, because you can see the people who are like, what about me? And then the people who are over giving and what about them? And finding that middle boundary, that balance area is the good man area. What is right for the team, not necessarily just for you or just for me. This kind of behavior, like you said, that's a headache. That's a headache. Why? Because you're a dependent who calls yourself the boss.
Mm.
And that's what this person is, a person who's a dependent who thinks that they're the boss, they're in charge. And that's a very interesting thing, is somebody who doesn't contribute nearly the same amount, but then has an expectation that they should be the one who calls all the shots.
Mm-hmm.
That's a funny teammate. That's an interesting teammate. Somebody who doesn't pitch in, but they should tell everybody how it works. Somebody who actually has an expectation of how much others should and need to do, but I can't do or I won't do. It's a very interesting dynamic this person would be creating. And I think that would be the check is it ownership or is it partnership? Are we a team or are you just here to get what you want? And you can see how transactional her mindset was. The relationship that she has is transactional. That means like, I'm only here for the provision element of it. Where's the connection? I didn't hear a single connection term in there for her. As soon as he's down, she's like, so you better figure it out or you owe me. I'm like, this is, like you said, girl behavior. This is a child's behavior. You never matured because this is a taker. Just like young boys, a boy mentality, which isn't an age thing. Just so you guys know, just because somebody is grown doesn't mean they have grown. This is important to remember. Just because somebody's older doesn't mean they've matured out of boy or girl behavior. Because I know people in their 40s and 50s who are still like, what about me? What about me? And you're like, no, what about our team? What about each other? What about the best for all of us? What about us? And this is where you see this type of behavior is very frustrating to watch.
Yeah, and you feel for you just feel for we encounter guys that fall into that situation all the time. It's a match made in hell when he is an extreme giver, right? And he finds someone that like because the reality is like he's an extreme giver because that's how he found value growing up, right? Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of the nice guys do that. It's because that was their value. That was the thing that made them good. And when they find the messed up part about it is when they find someone that values that, a person that only gives, right, and never asks, because that person can only take and never give, it's a match made in hell. Because now he is affirmed, right? This person values me for my giving, finally. Right? But the problem is when you run out of things to give, how do they respond to that? Because now you're with a person that cannot give.
Yeah. When there's no reciprocity even set up as a dynamic, or you have a nice guy, like you said, who overly gives and doesn't have the ability to hold boundaries or respect himself enough to go like, babe, we have to both be trying to make each other's lives better here, not just you get to be better because of me. And there's a lot of that behavior that's going on where like you have people who are extreme takers with extreme givers. And then what's really funny is today's society really is set up to where the extreme takers like really are starting to get into an enabled behavior. Like they're enabled to feel like they deserve more when they've never done anything to achieve or do more. There's a big issue on this one where I'm going to push into not even just the girl mentality, but the girl mentality. I want to kind of go into motherhood just for a little bit, because I think the next video goes into a motherhood thing where I think that today's society has done a really big disservice towards mothers. I think that we've done things to create conveniences for a very honorable and difficult job. Because remember, like, it takes a village mentality for a woman to have to like wash the laundry. Used to be take it to the river, scrub it on some crazy rock or some shit, and then they have to hang them all up and they all have to dry, and then we got to go pick berries or go and like take care of farm work, and then you have to cook all that food for everybody. Like everything was the hard way to do things, and it would take all day to do this stuff. It was very, very difficult work, very honorable work, very fulfilling work. Being a stay-at-home mom used to be like, damn, that's a strong woman. Like she handles her business and she takes care of the house, but she also understood the provider was able to take care of things and they could be such a solid team. Both jobs were highly respected, highly honored, highly appreciated. And this was a good thing. Well, now we have modern technology, and I've got guys who have been stay-at-home dads hearing how these moms are bitching and complaining all day. They're like, dude, we have a washing machine, we have a dishwasher, we got a Roomba. Like, I had the chores done in like an hour. I don't know why she's bitching about shit. Like, this is the easiest job. I just played with the kids all day, and it was fun. Like, it was cool. We had an awesome day. I don't know why this is such a stressful job. The kids are fun, man. Like, these dads do this. Dads were enjoying the stay at home. I'm sure you've had your days where like, this is fucking great.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a stay-at-home dad, and he loved it. It was incredible. He loved it, man.
I did it for 2 years. It was fucking wonderful. I had money coming in, so I still had money coming in. It was like, so I'd have to stay at home, and she went to work. And let me just tell you, we had lovely days with the kids. We were fun as hell. We had great days. We'd fucking make a ride with big forts and all kinds of. We had fun days, crazy snowman stuff. We would do fun stuff together. I loved it. Man, would that girl come home salty. This is my ex. She'd come home pissed because she was pulling in the same amount of money that I was, but she had to go work for it, and I had money coming in, and she was not happy. She'd come home and the kids would just hide by me. They're like, she's mad. And I'm like, I got you guys. Like, so I was there, and it was really sad because real talk, because of that dynamic, I was there more for the children at that time than I was for the relationship. We weren't my kids, by the way. So like, I was raising these two kids, but I was there more for them because I knew how unhealthy she was being. And I knew that environment. And I was like, I got to make sure that these kids are okay. It was a tough time. It was a tough time for everybody, but it was very telling for some of this behavior where if I got to be a stay-at-home dad, I knew that was awesome. But you see the stay-at-home moms, no work. They're not contributing anything. Everything that they own now has been given to them, and they get to do the funnest damn job. They get to take care of these amazing human beings. And today's women, I have seen women leaving their own children. I have seen women abandoning their homes, resentful of their children, taking away their dreams. Like these things where these are good kids. They're good kids. And now society is telling women the one thing that girls can do that, like, we can't do that shit. One thing that name a job that we can't do without women is like make children. We can't do it. It's the one thing. And now even the one thing women are now going against that as being like good. I'm like, this thing is the most amazing thing you can do. It's amazing. You can create an amazing human life, an awesome kid. And then they don't like it.
I watched this happen where when my wife became a stay-at-home mom, She couldn't talk to her friends that weren't, like her mom friends that like were going to work. She couldn't talk to them anymore because they would just say, you know, like little remarks, you know, they don't value that position. Like the ladies put the ladies that are at home, they put them down. They put them down, and I don't know. I think it's a mix, but I see two reasons. It could be number one, they're jealous that they have to work and she doesn't.
Which is very
Or
funny too, because women really want to work right now, so they're jealous that they have to work, but they want to work. I want my money, but I don't want to work. It's very confusing to be jealous about.
most women and guys that I talk to, like especially they get that 3 month period right after the baby is first born. I would say a majority of ladies do not want to go back after they experience that time. You know what I mean? Like it is a bit of a struggle to get back in there and do that again. And I just feel like it's them putting this view and this shame like on the stay-at-home moms that is making like I don't know how you fix that, you know?
Well, even just take the behavior of it. Ladies shaming ladies for having something good. Just take the behavior itself. You have something good, and I want you to feel bad for it. What an interesting thought process to even say, is this really a friend? I get to stay home with my kids. I'm forming bonds. I'm doing great things right now. I'm lucky too that I have the opportunity to do this because I have somebody who will provide the opportunity for me. They love me and the children so much that I don't have to worry about not only working full time, but also I can do this. Just so you know, before Andrea and I were together, she always had a job. She worked full time and still raised her kids. She was working full time, and he was working full time too. Like these kids had to figure stuff out. There's a lot of work to do this. And so the women who have the opportunity to do this, amazing to be able to do this. And other women will shame women for something that's like, what a cool scenario.
Well, and I think a lot of bad advice comes from the hurt women, like the women who didn't go into a career, they stayed at home, and then for whatever reason they get divorced. Right? Normally they'll say like the guy cheats on them or he's a shitty person or whatever it may be. But those stories, I always only believe like 30% of it. And they're telling the ladies essentially that if you don't build a career, this is what can happen to you. Now you'll never be able, to have a career. You'll never be able to take care of yourself when he leaves you, because he's going to leave you, because men are bad and this is what they do and this is my experience. There's nothing more frustrating to me than people giving relationship advice that have never had a successful relationship.
Preach, dude. These people do this with everything. People are giving advice. I hate unsolicited advice. I think you're so right. This is where women's agreeableness gets them in trouble. Women are way more agreeable than men. They're taught to be more agreeable, especially like in social situations with other women. They learn this in like 7th, 8th grade to start going along with the matriarch, who's probably the biggest bully there, the most opinionated, the most judgmental. Maybe she's like pretty, but she's mean as fuck. Like you'll see them just go along with, I want to belong and I want to be popular. Or I want to be a part of the group. And if you're not a part of the group, man, are they vicious? They talk shit all day long. What a weird thing to want to be on that. Like, well, I want to be on the safe side of that. I want to be on the side that doesn't get shit on. And you're like, wow, that's where you want to fit in. That's you. That's your agreeableness. So you listen to talk about Cindy and talk about Cheryl and talk about Michelle and how terrible these bitches. She thinks she's so great. She's not great. And like, just try and tear other women down. And like, yeah, I know, right? But then you're like, I really don't feel like that. Those are very nice people. Like you won't say anything against it because they're mean. It's a really difficult situation for ladies with their agreeableness that they won't go, no, that's wrong. And it is wrong. It's wrong to try and hurt people for good things. It's wrong to do that. I don't know if Audie's like this, but Andrea has become a lot more vocal. It's become very natural for women to come up and complain about their husbands. Oh my God, my husband, right? And she's like, well, where is he? He's at work. Do you work? Like, no. So you're here to buy luxury things on his dollars, and then you come here to complain about him while you come and buy nice things that he provides for you. You're like, yeah, well, he just doesn't do enough dishes. You're like, but you don't do anything, and you're here because of him, and then you're going to complain about him? She's like, I'm not the one to do that. I don't like to backstab or talk behind somebody I love's back. I don't like to do that. And she's like, I'm not really the one. That's good to just talk bad about somebody I love. I'm not that person. And it hits their brakes quick because they're like looking for that judgmental demolition as connection is what I call it, which means if I tear somebody else down, it means that I can connect with you because we both have something we both would make fun of or both not like. And women learn this in like 7th grade. They learn that rumors and gossip is a point of get attention and connection. But I really would challenge that if I were to connect with you, JR, and my connection point with you is hatred or make fun of or talk bad behind someone's back or hurt somebody behind their, like, who cares about me? I'm going to talk poorly about someone who I care about, who care about me. And that's where we connect. Wouldn't that mean I'm not healthy? Wouldn't that mean, like, instead of connecting on something good or progressive or something loving or something like kind or and motivational, instead I'm connecting through something where I disrespect and I'm cruel and I rumor mill and I talk poorly about? My connection point is an unhealthy level. Doesn't that show if I'm trying to be like, hey, connect with me on unhealthy, the lowest common denominator? And my baby is like, yeah, I'm not going down there. I'm not going to connect with you there. Like, I have to come down here and talk bad about someone I love in order for us to be friends. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to go for that connector.
Yeah, we were taught, like, when she was working at a job, she would have to deal with that stuff. Now it's very different because she can, when you have a job, you don't get to pick and choose who you're around and who you talk to, right? When you have more freedom, you do. You get to pick and choose. For the most part, you have random encounters out in the world, but much less than being confined into a building or a room with like certain people that you wouldn't necessarily hang out with otherwise. But she would tell me, ladies, coming to her and talking to her about their husbands, and she would always be like, I just look at them like, I don't know. I really like my husband, so I truly don't understand what you're talking about right now. And gossip, like connecting through gossip. My mindset, if someone is trying to connect with me through gossip and like talking shit on other people, my first thought is, what is this person saying about me when I'm not around? That's my first thought. Because clearly, like, this is a person that I thought was their friend, but here they are, like, talking shit about them to me, who, like, we have a similar level of friendship, you know? So nothing is going to lead, like, nothing good is going to come of gossip in my mind.
That's why they don't like me. Because I'm like, did you tell him that? Like, did you know that JR, he is being such a dick? I'm like, did you tell him he's being a dick? Like, no, it's not my business. Then why are you doing that? Remember, there's just even the thought of what you're saying is like, what are you doing when I'm not around? Reminds me of Socrates with the 3 sieves, like the 3 filters, if you will. When he's like, hold on, before you start telling me the rumor, do you know it's absolutely true? Like, this is true. They're like, no, I heard it from so-and-so who heard it from so-and-so. So it's right. It's not totally true. They're like, okay, is it a good thing? Like, this is good. Like, it's good information. They're like, oh no, it's juicy. This is bad shit. You're like, okay, is it necessary for me to know it in order to do anything better? They're like, not necessary, no. And you're like, keep it to yourself. If it's not true, it's not good, and it's not necessary, I don't think I need to hear this rumor. I don't think I need to hear this gossip. And that's being disagreeable, by the way, not being agreeable. But people are the girls. I had to work on my daughters with this one. They're very attracted to negative conversations. Oh, did you hear about so and so? Oh, did you hear they broke up? Oh, did you hear about this? And they're like, oh my God, I need to know more. And you're like, they have to get it. And I'm like, ladies, you got to watch out when like your connector point is at a negative. It's a negative energy. You got to watch out where like this is how I connect is negativity. This does take a toll on your people. And I think the next video that you have really showcases what we've been talking about, where somebody who's been taken care of, somebody who's been loved, somebody who's been doing good things, just says mean stuff about the person who takes care of everything that they have. They bite the hand that takes care of everything they have. Trigger warning. This video is difficult to watch because this one got my girl upset. She was like, this is nonsense. As a woman who works, she's like, this one pissed her off.
This one also got this woman's husband, or now ex-husband, very upset as well.
Oh, imagine that. Publicly displaying some sort of a shame system to hurt your people you love. Funny. All right, let's get in.
So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been hands down the most depressing, miserable, horrible 3 years of my life. I have literally never been so depressed. I've never hated another person more than I hate the person that I married.
While I run my ass off and I do everything for everybody in my life, like me, my kids, him, he goes to work and works enough. That's it. He works. Yeah, his job's hard. Yeah, his hours suck, but he works. That is all he does. I tried taking care of myself and went on a walk, but when I started realizing I hadn't heard from him, I'm calling and calling and calling and begging for the bare minimum of him to watch our daughter. Excuse my language. I'm just so upset. To watch our daughter, to cut up a watermelon and to make dinner. I am 30 years old and I'm literally begging for the bare minimum every single day. I am a married single mom. That's what I am. Yeah, I don't work, but the amount of weight I carry, I mean, I can tell you right now, the reason women stay in shit relationships is 1, because they don't have the means to leave financially, like a house. 2, the idea of a family. I can tell you why I've stayed. Money. It's that simple. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. He used to want me to be a stay-at-home mom. Now he just doesn't care because he doesn't care about anything.
And yeah, I know I can leave because trust me, I am leaving. But people can't just walk out and leave one day when you have kids and 12 years of life wrapped up together. You got to have a plan. You can't just walk away with nothing. You have to have a plan. I mean, I'm trying so hard not to be bitter, but like, I've just never disliked somebody so much that I should love that I just don't. In sickness and health, better or worse, like, no. Like, so destroy myself and my kids to keep a vow? Nope. So today is my 3-year wedding anniversary, and I can without a doubt say that this has been...
All right, that thing's over on that one. That one's brutal. Andrea was so salty at this one. Like when I shared with her, she did not. This one did not hit her well at all. She did not like this. This one I was like, baby, I got to calm you down. Because she was like, no. Because the reality on this one, because she works full time and we got 4 people here that we take care of. She's like, she got mad because she said the people that do the least complain the most. She's like, the people who have never had to do really hard things complain the most about like blessings. Like everything this lady's talking about is a blessing. And she's mad at her blessings. I just want to point out something that I found this is true too. In my 3 years of running women's groups, I found this to be true. The stay-at-home moms or women who do this, they do have a very different measurement system for how much stuff is done. They have a very different measurement system. So it was something where I noticed this was a few years ago, and it hasn't been disproven yet. When women do a task, they count multiple things in the task. So if I move 4 pairs of shoes, that's 4 tasks. And if I did 10 dishes, that's 10 more tasks. And if I did a vacuum, like I vacuumed 5 rooms, like this, each thing is added up. And all he did is go to work. But he's doing like 12 hours of like you could diet this, like he's doing some insane like crane work or construction or some back-breaking job or something very difficult that couldn't be done. Most women wouldn't even be able to do, and he does it all day long, and they only count that as one thing. I did like 500 things and you only did one. I'm doing everything and you're only doing one thing. And he's like, I'm an engineer. Like, I don't think you understand. I'm doing something that only 1% of people can even do. Like, this isn't like a small thing. And how many things do you have to know as an engineer? A lot. You have to do insanely difficult things all the time. You have to figure out extremely complex problems. Nope, that's just one thing.
So they see their things as many little tasks, but they see other people's things as, right, one thing, you know, right? Like, you know, when you look around the house, like that sock, that it's not cleaning the living room, it's the sock, it's the crumbs, it's the cup, it's every single piece of that task.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen this.
And so they'll look at like, I did so many things today. I've done hundreds of things today. And you only did one thing. And so you come home and you can't do anything when you get home. It's like, what do you think he does? Like, he goes to like sleep for 12 hours and then comes home. Like, he's doing stuff that can't be done easily. I know guys that do extremely difficult things and they come home wiped out, sacrificing their fucking years and lives just to make sure you guys have enough of your blessings that you're mad about: the dishwasher, the food you have, the clothes you wear, the room you're in, the entertainment that you have. And so it's really funny. This is just one thing I saw. And she says, I hate them. I have never hated someone more. All he does is just not even the bare minimum. And why doesn't she leave? Because of money. Like, what? You guys had to make an agreement to do this. They said they were together for 12 years, married for 3. It's like, well, you did this. Like, this person's been taking care of you. And this is just so you guys know. You guys want to hear an interesting thing I've noticed with people when they get divorced is with women, they do something very interesting. And I've seen this multiple times. Every time I see a divorce happen, there's something that happens in the mind of a woman that when there's a title change, there's like, it's like a different person, like a different life. Like whether it's like their work version of them, wife version of them, and then who they were before wife version of them. These are 3 different human beings. Once I see women get divorced, they regress back to who they were before the marriage. I have seen woman after woman go back to their old job, go back to the old bar they used to go back to their old behavior they used to do before they got married, because whoever they were as wife is a different era. And so they only know old programming. And so you'll see a woman who's 44 go back to acting like she's 24. Go back to like she's 25. Whenever she got married, whatever year they got married, they go right back to that old behavior. And I've seen her old, Andrea's friend did it too. When I first met her, I was like, what's she doing? She's going back to her old bar that she met her old guy at. I'm like, yeah, but that's when she was like 22. Now she's 43 and she's got like 5 kids. Like, this is not the same person. But she thinks she's going to go in there and get her a $300K guy who wants to take care of her and her 5 kids. And it doesn't matter how bananas that she is. Like, I'm back to old me. I'm back in the game. Time for me to get another prince.
Yeah, it's almost they look back and like they feel like the life that they're living now is stopping them from living the life that they used to, right? All the things that they used to enjoy, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And there's something that the guys, I think on our end, the ladies get burnt out much easier than us when it comes to like workloads. And like, I have to be very aware of when Audie is like getting to one of those points. It's like, okay, like, we need a weekend, we need a night, she needs a day. Like, you know what, babe, Saturday, you go. Like, you go to the gym, go do your thing, go to the cafe, just be anywhere but here. Okay, I got this. Like, you go do your thing, right? Or we go do our thing. Like, that is something that a lot of times we miss, right? Because we're just doing things and living life, and we forget about our relationship after we have kids. We become mom and dad instead of husband and wife. And it's a huge mistake that a lot, even if it's like somewhat sacrificing things for the kids, even, right? Like, a lot of parents that I know that are my age, they won't let their kids stay overnight with the grandparents. They won't put the kids into the gym daycare because, maybe they got in a fight with the kids, and one of the kids hit them in the face with a toy, or, what, like, they are sacrificing their needs and their time for this imaginary protection of their children, and they don't realize that it's going to inevitably lead to the downfall of their relationship.
It's a curse. That's a female curse, by the way. There's when I'm writing out the mother curses and the father curses, they're different things. Mothers will naturally do more coveting and protection. They'll try and hold it, like, don't go to bed, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt, don't do that, you're gonna get hurt, oh no, that's not good. And this is a very important thing, because this it's good for a nurturing element, but the unhealthy version of it is very it almost mimics vampirism. Like, it mimics being parasitic. And what I mean by that is they'll latch on and then won't let them do anything. Like, and just, you can't go do that, don't do that, don't do that, and then start making the kid feel responsible for my emotions if you want to do something outside of, like, not letting me go. Like, if you go, no, I don't want you to get hurt, no, stay here, just stay here and stay close. And it's really happened when fathers are removed from the home, or fathers don't have a strong backbone, or they don't have boundaries to, like, say, hey, no, I'm no leaders. Women will create very, very weak children, because they'll never have any adventure, never have any learning, no social skills. They never get to play. They never get hit in the head with a block and go, oh, don't get hit in the head in the block. Like, they don't learn how to do life stuff. A healthy male in the house, or healthy men, we're the spirit of play and progress. That's what the father is we pursue hard things. And so the mom is supposed to be the nurture, a healthy nurture, where, like, if you get hurt, they run to mom. If they want to play, they run to dad. And dad's the play. We're the rough and tumble. We're the rawr, get them. Like, we're the play element, and the kids learn how to do the play part with dad, and the safe and the love part from mom. But dad's also like, I believe in you, I'm going to push you out the door. Or mom's like, no, you should still need me. And dad's like, no, baby, they got it. You got this. I believe in you. Go get it. Go fall on your face. Go wipe out. I'm here for you. I got the safety net, but I need you to go get tackled. I need you to go lose the game. I need you to go have a tough time. I need you to learn how to deal with a breakup. Go get them. You can do it. I believe in you. And dads push the kids off, while mom is like, no, I want to hold you close. But without the, hey, go get it, I believe in you, push you out the door, you got this, without that push part, then the kids just held on to. They're just latched on, which means they never try anything. They never go anywhere. They never, believe in themselves. They need mom. And then you're watching men who are now in their 30s, even 40s, who are still like, oh, I have to please the matriarch. I have to please the matriarch. I have to please the matriarch because her feelings are somehow my responsibility. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you are fucked. Like, because that means they won't stand up to a woman who's doing bananas behavior when all that she wants you to do is go, baby, stop it. I got it. I'm like, stop. I got you. Like, relax. Let me take care of it. You chill out. I got you. The day you're talking about with Audie, I did yesterday with Andrea, because she's had a tough week. I was like, baby, we need a love day. We need you and me day. And so we took yesterday, and we had a good, 7-8 hours together. I canceled a bunch of calls. I still did my Crown and Shield call, but quick call. And then I was like, it's you and me time, baby. And we get to hang out together and love on each other and just spend time together and just hold her and be there for her. And just the connection element was really good. And she needed that. So that way she's like, I'm good for the next days.
Yeah, it needs to happen. We get so, I know you're like, we can get so focused, hyper-focused on the goals and moving things forward. And in our mind, and most guys' minds, the more we do, the better off she's going to be and my family is going to be. Like, I'm doing this for their benefit. But it can, you kind of sabotage yourself along the way. And with the nice guy stuff, man, it's really fucked because they wrap their goodness, their self-worth around their ability to help them control their emotions and be happy. And like, I experienced this for a long time. Her unhappiness it was always a trigger for me. It was always a trigger for me. And the real fucked part about it is that the more you do that, the more you try to control her in different ways without really knowing it, but control her happiness and be responsible for her emotions, the less happy she's going to be.
It doesn't work like that. I joke about with the guys. I was like, if you were really in control of her emotions, well, I'd switch those emotions up quick. I'm like, oh, she seems upset about something. I'm going to knock her right into joyful. Oh, she really struggled with that thing. She's very stressed out. I'm going to knock her right into horny. We're going to fix that real quick. Oh, I'm going to knock her over into happiness. We're going to switch the emotion very quickly. Well, if we were really in charge, I'd be knocking her into all kinds of different emotions. Turns out, though, that's not how that works.
No.
And this is where we control our own emotions. It's very funny.
Yes. And there's something for the nice guys where we develop the belief, like this black and white thinking, this good and bad thinking. And maybe for people in general, there's good emotions and bad emotions. Right? Like, happy is good. Horny is good. Sad, that's bad. Upset, angry, that's bad. And not only is it bad for other people, but the reason it's bad for other people is actually because I was shamed for having those emotions myself.
You did something wrong, and you're bad if you have those too.
Yes. So if I'm bad when I have those emotions, now I think they're bad when they have those emotions. And if you're trying to control other people's emotions, there's a weird thing that comes into play there too, where you think you're better than them in some way. A lot of guys, because they suppress their sadness, their anger, they suppress those emotions, and they see other people who can't do that, they, in a way, see themselves as superior. Right? And that's why they try to control that other person into like not suppressing their emotions too, because they believe that's what the superior person does. That's what a good person does.
Interesting. That's fascinating to hear. Like, because remember, I'm on the bad boy side, so I was like, that nice guy shit. So I'm like, I don't. You think you're superior because you're doing a form of good intention suppression, and so now I should be in charge of other people's emotions? Kind of twisted.
Yeah, it's very messed up. It's very messed up. But
we got to fix that. Let's not our guys not do that. That's unhealthy. We're going to not do that. I got a guy here who's going to make it very healthy. I think that maybe we're both wrong. I think this guy who's wearing his cool kid AC/DC shirt and he's got his suit coat on and he's high-pitchedly aggressive, I think he's got the cure. I think we got the cure coming. So anybody who's trying to figure out, so what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? I think this guy's the guy. This is the one that we need to follow. He's the one who has all the answers. So let's hear what's the best instruction that we can do.
Have to ask somebody to do things like they're a fucking child. They're not a partner. That's just what it is. I shouldn't have to ask you to pick up your clothes. I shouldn't have to ask you to help care for your kids. Sorry, the word help again. I shouldn't have to ask you to prepare meals. I shouldn't have to ask you to anticipate that laundry needs to be done, or that grocery shopping needs to be done, or that something needs to be done around the house. You need to take the pets to the vets, whatever. You should know you need to do these things. It's what it means to be an adult and to be self-sufficient. If you
shouldn't have to ask anything. That's the answer.
You should never have to communicate expectations to anyone that this is very similar to the first video. I see so much overlap in the first video. One, because you're shaming someone for not being able to read your mind. right? They're immature. They're not a partner. That's not a relationship. That's not a husband. And two, he's doing the thing of pandering to the women because who are he's a lawyer. Who are his clients? Women that are divorcing men, right? The more women that he can pander to in this way and attract, the more clients he is. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but like just that's the overlap that I'm seeing here.
I think it's, again, I want to raise people's awareness to blame, shame, and judgment as some sort of cure. It's not. Anytime you catch blame, shame, and judgment, it's usually going the opposite way of connection and understanding. I think the reason I say this is Carl Jung has this quote that thinking is difficult. That's why people judge. And I would make it a little stronger because I want to add the heart side to it too. So the way I say it is that thinking and empathy are hard, and that's why people judge instead. They don't want to do something that's difficult to do. They don't want to do it hard. I don't want to think and understand you, and I don't want to connect and really empathize with you. So instead, I'll just call you names and tell you why you're not good enough because I don't want to think and I don't want to feel. I'm just going to be right by being a dickhead. And so that's this guy. So if somebody says, I shouldn't have to ask you, somebody just became the authority because they're judgmental. It is impossible for us to know what each other are thinking all the time. Do you know why? Because everybody came from different backgrounds. They're different personality types. They have different experiences, different parents, different school they went to, different friend growing up, different things that went right and wrong in their life, different life lessons. Everything's different. Every single thing about us is different. What are the odds you're supposed to just think exactly how I think? Now, the other side of this, if these people are supposed to just know, who trained them to do this? Because babies aren't born knowing this stuff, which means there had to be some influence or training to know this. So who trained everybody to just know what everybody's supposed to do as an adult? Because a lot of adults don't know what the fuck they're doing. So who's doing all this training to just, you're supposed to just know without asking? Who's this magician who's doing the best training to just know what everybody is thinking without asking? No communication needed. Just they're so well trained. They just know what everyone needs before they need it.
It's such a dangerous viewpoint to push and affirm. Because like a lot of people feel this way. A lot of people genuinely make this argument in their relationship. I'm not saying they're healthy people, but a lot of people make this argument in their relationship. And when you hear people affirming that and saying like, you are absolutely right, what is wrong with them? Why should you have to ask them to do these things? Why should you have to explain to them how to do something that any mature adult person should be able to do?
Well, then why don't you do it? Again, accountability this is why I say like people judge when they don't understand. If I'm going to be mad at you, I have a video like this that fucking blew up. Emily King shared it and all that stuff. Is a video where like the women are like, why should I have to tell him to go take out the garbage? I'm like, is the problem the garbage will never be taken out and there'll be like 10 bags of garbage just sitting there, or you want it done when you want it done? And that's the issue. And she's like, well, more of I want it done when I want it done. I'm like, okay, so he's supposed to just know the time frame that you made up without communicating to go do a task that he'll do later, but not on your time. Like, yeah, he should just know when to do that. He should just know that. And I said, that's pretty fair. Okay, he should just know that. I think you should just know and or jump to whenever he wants intimacy. And he shouldn't have to ask for it. He shouldn't have to ask for intimacy. Whenever it just comes into his mind that he wants intimacy, you should just be on it. Just jump right on like, hey, intimacy time. You thought it. I just knew you thought it. And it's time to go jump on intimacy. Why isn't that on the same level of go do just tasks that I think you should do? Why isn't that on the tasks that he thinks you should do? Well, I don't like that. I'm like, it's the golden rule here. You're expecting people to just know and do things on your time that isn't convenient to you, nor is it an obligation to do that for you or to you. And yet, if it was roles reversed, you'd have this extreme justification why that's not okay. Don't you see that's called gaslighting introspection? This means When I say it's something that you should just read minds and do what I say, that's called healthy relationship. But if you ever say read minds and do what I think you should say, that's abuse. That's called gaslighting introspection. It means I lie to myself about the exact same behavior when I do it. That's what this is. And that's why this type of behavior for this is why this type of advice needs to be shut down, because there's not a lot of thinking about anything except for how you can manipulate and hurt people in relationships, because this pulls you so far away from connection. This makes it so there's no way that you can keep evolving and learning with each other. This makes it so the versions of us that keep growing now can't grow, because it's supposed to just be perfectly understood without evolution.
Yeah.
And that's not how humans work. The growing together element is such a beautiful part. But this type of thinking makes it so that you're not supposed to grow. You're supposed to be perfect based on somebody's authority without thinking and empathy. Just judgments. That's it.
I think the solution to these problems that a lot of people have with this in particular is, number one, not being afraid to ask for things. Not being afraid to ask for things, whether it's helping out with stuff around the house or whether it's intimacy on the guy's end. Like a lot of on both sides, like my wife and I in that journey, we both, like the unhealthy version of each of us was a people pleaser in a way. She was kind of the glue that kept the family together, and for me in different ways, but we both shared this common thing of like not really being able to ask for what we want. And we would form these covert contracts, right? We would do things for each other in hopes that the other would in return do things for us that we want. And it's super, super unhealthy. And we just even recently, like not that long ago, we had a thing where she, like, it was her birthday. So she went away on a snow trip, and I asked her, like, what do you want me to do while you're away? Like, is there anything you want? Like, we don't do presents. We'll just do like trips and pay for other stuff. Presents isn't a love language for either one of us. So I was like, is there anything you want me to do? And she was like, just if the dishes are clean, I'm good. Right. But then she walked in and there was some other things that were unclean, and she was not happy I could tell she was not happy when she came in. And we have this conversation where it's like, this thought of, I just thought that maybe since my love language is acts of service, you would have done more. Right. And I had to like come back into this place of, I asked you. Like I agreed to do the thing that you wanted me to. If you would have asked for more, I would have given you more, right? And it like went on and on for a little while, like coming back to that, and I had to just kind of stand firm in it and wait for this to wait for her to kind of talk herself out and understand. But we got to a place where we could finally come to an agreement, right? And she got to a place where she could communicate what she was trying to say and have me finally understand and agree to something, where it was like, how she said to me, how on special days, maybe your birthday or whatever it is, I'll do something special for you. Like I'll give you a mouth hug or, something like that. And I was like, yeah, I do know that. And I like that very much. She said, okay, well, moving forward, special days for me, my love language is acts of service, and I would just like something special in that category. And I was like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. I agree. Let's do that moving forward.
How many days then do we make special days?
That's a great question, right? So
because
it's like,
women are like, I want you to have 7 special days. I want you, every day for me should be a special day of you doing acts of service, and then maybe I'll give you one special day back. I'm like, maybe we need to negotiate a little better here. This is also
a good
where
point.
you nice guys need to get your shit together, Because I'm like, listen, I'm happy to do acts of service if we're put down like some sort of reciprocity here.
Yeah.
Listen, but it can't be 7-1 and call it fair.
Yeah.
Like, listen, now this is where, like, if you're like, hey, I want special days every day, I'm like, who doesn't? Me too, right? You're like, I shouldn't have to give you special days. I'm like, we better check that sentence. Hold on now. If you get special days, we gotta watch out what's going on with this. It's a relationship that becomes more of a take than a reciprocity. Are we both trying to make each other's lives better? But it's a really tricky conversation. Women are taught today that chores. This is I'm going to hard line this one. Ladies, chores have never been easier in history. I'm gonna check you right to your face. If any women are listening to send this clip. Chores have never been easier in history. We have better technology, better floor cleaning tools. We got better dishwashers. We got better washing machines. We got better dryers. Every chore you can think of is easier than it's ever been in human history. And you are the most angry about it. Check yourself. Check yourselves on any of that stuff. We can team up on all these things, but my guys never come in complaining about chores, even stay-at-home dads, single dads. I'm like, I don't complain about that. It's just getting shit done. It's never been easier. But ladies, it's never been easier, and you see that one lady just getting mad when it's never been easier in history. Ever. And so I'm just putting it out there. Anybody who wants to go like, he's not doing enough chores. I'm like, it's one button. Do it. Do the fucking button. Any adult can do it. If you're the adult, then do the damn thing. And there's different things that you just see people do. My girls, dishes is definitely, they hate doing the dishes. Who doesn't? I hate doing the dishes. Everybody hates doing dishes, right? We got an awesome dishwasher. I bought a fucking awesome dishwasher. But I'll tell you what, that damn trash can, they'll stack that bitch to the ceiling. They will never take that fucking thing out. I just watch them. I'll come back after a day or two and they stack that thing. I'm like, Jesus, girls. Like, it is like pouring, the bag's pulled up and it's like an extra layer of the bag on top held up all the stuff. And I'm like, nobody's going to take this thing out? Like, you guys are going to fill this to the ceiling, weren't you? Nobody has an ambition to take that garbage out. There's no agreement, by the way, like Rick takes out the garbage. It's just, if you see it, take care of it. You're going to have your own home one day. You better know how to do your own shit. Trained or untrained, but my girls will stack that thing. I'm like, you girls are silly. Now, whenever we ask them to do stuff, they do it. But it's just one of those things where it's like, this one would not get done. I just think it's very funny how, like, we have these big agreements of that's a special day thing for me. That's a special day thing for me. When I'm like, it's never been easier in history. I'll throw the dishes in the dishwasher in 5 fucking minutes. Where's my special day?
It is crazy. It is crazy how much time it takes to do some of these things. Like, it's nothing. It's literally nothing. It's nothing. You know? I mean, the laundry, it's nothing. Folding the laundry, that takes some time. And I don't do that. So, like, I'm very thankful that she does.
I love the towels.
You love it?
I love doing towels. Listen, I like doing towels. I'm like, you guys can throw me the towels. I actually enjoy doing towels. That's not me being like some pandering shit. I actually just like doing the towels. Like, it doesn't bother me. That one. Now, I don't like doing socks. Fuck socks. Like, here's what's funny. I don't mind doing big stuff. I hate doing small stuff. Like, for the dishes, I don't mind doing pots and pans. I fucking hate silverware. You know, for the laundry, I don't mind doing towels, but do your own socks. I'm kind of weird. I don't like doing the small tasks. I like doing the big ones.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't mind. Like, I like, so our like dirty clothes basket is upstairs. The laundry is in the basement. Like, I feel like I like taking it up and down and loading it and unloading it. But that's it. Like, those are the tasks I'm going to do. The rest is up to you. Like, if I see it's full, I'm taking it. If the trash can is full, I'm going to take that big thing out of there and throw it out. You know, those things are no problem. But, like, sweeping, dusting, like, I don't.
Well, I think
I
that's
could care
part of
less.
what it is. Whenever we do the house cleaning here, I do the heavy stuff and I do the hard stuff. Like, if it's got to be fixed or built or moved, something big, I do all the heavy stuff. And our girls do all the tedious stuff. So our girls will clean the bathrooms and our girls will do the stuff that's like, anybody could do that, but it's more tedious and it's more like it's the small things. And so my girls, they handle the small stuff. I handle the big stuff. And that's how we team up on the house. And we crush my team's efficient. We'll crush this place out. And so that's just how we trained our people to make sure like they can handle a lot of stuff. But like, I like doing that thing's 300 pounds. I'm like, you want it? They're like, I can't move that. I'm like, then I guess that's my job today. Like, I got that one. You go ahead and spray that thing and wipe it down. Like, I don't want to do that job, but you can't do this job. So let's switch. It doesn't bother me. It feels like a good dynamic that we have here, and everybody gets their shit done, and then we just have some good times together. Everybody's happy.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I just see these things where, like, you know, you shouldn't have to ask. You shouldn't have to ask. I highly disagree. It's actually really enjoyable to be able to see like how we're evolving and what are your needs, like what's changed and what's working for you, what's not working for you. How can we grow together? What's a better way? You know, how are you feeling today? You know, could you imagine me just going, I shouldn't have to tell you how I'm feeling. That's fucking such a stupid thing to say. I shouldn't have to tell you how I'm feeling today. It's like, why not? I shouldn't have to tell you what I need. Do you know what you need? I shouldn't have to tell you. I'm like, do you know what you need though? Like, are you just knowing and withholding, or you just don't know either? And that's why you're telling me I'm shamed. If you don't know either, how the fuck? I'm like, okay. Do you know what I need right now? And you're not doing it? If you don't do it, I think if you don't know what I'm thinking right now, I don't think this relationship's going to work. How silly is that shit? Read my mind. Again, I told you it's impossible to know. Shenanigans, JR. Shenanigans.
Yeah, it causes a lot of unneeded frustration.
Speaking of which, these are tough videos to watch. There's a few of the really rough ones that you sent me that I didn't even want to put in here because, like,
are we gonna do one?
No, I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. There's a good one here on like judgmental stuff, but I feel like we did it. We got almost 2 hours of just doing this, and I hope that it's helpful because a lot more of what we're doing is trying to go like, how can we be more productive? How can we do it a better way? What stuff is don't do that? That's obviously disruptive to love and connection. So I hope this is helpful for people going. It's good to hear some perspectives that aren't us going like, you should hate these people and be filled with hate, more than like, let's do it in a way that makes it so we can at least try to understand each other better instead of just judging people, because thinking and empathy is hard. And if you're not doing that, that's why people judge.
Amen.
All right. Well, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Thanks for hanging with us. And if you made it this far, you're a legend. Check out our other videos. JR and I do train men's groups. We have men's organizations join us in our Crown and Shield training. We do train 4 times a week for our guys. Jump in with us. Click into liking, subscribing, all the buttons you guys know to do. And then jump in our Discord, jump in the King's community, jump in the Warriors Way mindset, and jump in and learn from both of us because we do teach different things and both are useful. So make sure you're jumping into Crown and Shield training. That's with JR and myself. Otherwise, go be badass to each other and go do cool things. JR, you got anything to say?
Nah, man. I love it. Thanks for having me on again.
Always, dude.
Click on the button and you can become the hero in your own story. It's time to start making the choices to change. And the evolution that you're going to do begins with choosing the next step. This is the way. And together, we're always stronger.